and the logistics of like gear and equipment. So you have a rig at home, obviously, a studio at home. So you have stuff that's in storage that's kept for tours, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand, they think, oh yeah, well, he brings his keyboard or whatever. It's like, well, no, I don't.
No, that's all backline.
Yeah.
Or like, for instance, my Madonna gear is in her storage. And whenever we go on tour, we pull that stuff out.
Right.
And it's like you left it, 2-3 years ago, whatever.
So that's great. So the Madonna, especially for the Madonna tour stuff, your gear that's in storage, that's on her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's paying. You don't have to pay for storage for your backline gear.
No.
That's
her stuff.
That's an expense.
Yeah. So gear that I've started working, that I used back in my first tour in 2008 with her, is still there.
It's still in storage.
Yeah.
Wow. See, a lot of people don't realize the logistics that goes into even just having the equipment on hand when you need it for whatever gig it might be. Like I said, it might be a TV gig, it might be going out on tour.
Yeah.
There's a team. There's no longer the days of you lugging around your.
Oh, I don't.
So when was the last time you touched gears? Was it Cirque? Where you weren't allowed to pick up anything? Because I remember a time.
Even Circa, we had our own backline. Yeah, we had backline.
For sure. Because I remember the first time that I ever heard of anybody like going from that transition to playing bars and playing at a first tier was Yves Frula, who plays with Celine, and he was explaining to me that he was blown away that he was no longer allowed to touch a flight case because his fingers, if he injured himself, it was
a liability,
and it was a liability. Wow. So he was like, I'm not allowed to lift anything anymore. My first instinct is to want to.
I've never heard not allowed.
They're not.
I've always done that out of respect for backline.
Right.
Because sometimes they'll get insulted if you start moving stuff yourself.
Right.
And they'll come and like, hey, let me do that.
Yeah. Well, that's union. Sorry. Those are union guys too. They
yeah, the local, the venue guys.
The venue guys.
But I'm saying even like guys on tour with us.
Yeah.
Like.
Can we talk a little bit about when that happens?
Yeah, when did that happen?
For like the up and coming artists nowadays who are still lugging their own gear around, when does it happen that we then switch to backline?
It just depends on the tour.
Okay.
Because some tours, most tours, I guess. I'm trying to think. Even Corneille, was I lugging my own gear?
I don't think so. You think so?
Can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I was playing with Sky and I wasn't lugging my gear. And I couldn't believe somebody handing my bass and I had to trust that it was in tune. Oh, what a weird feeling. I was like, man, you better
And that's why even people in the background are so important as well. They make our job way easier. Right. So from front of house to monitor to stage hands to backline guys, it's a whole team.
People don't realize
making it work.
Like when you see like the even like the Bell Center or just stadium, them putting the show together.
It's a whole team. And that's another thing about working with Madonna that I truly realized was, and she's on top of everything. All of those departments, she's on top of
really?
All of it. I'll tell you a story about Madonna. When I first played, when we first played for her in rehearsals, I think we had a week to prepare before she came in. This is my first day, like first week of rehearsing with Madonna. And so, we're all feeling confident. I'm certainly feeling confident. Yeah, she's going to love what we played. Yeah, it's going to be dope. She don't have any changes, no notes.
Yeah, right.
Boy.
She comes
playing the song.
Yeah. So she comes in and then she says, okay, cool. Play what you got. And so we play, I guess it was first 4 songs of the set. And then we played the song, and then she sits there, and then she's like live on the microphone. She's like, I had 2 bars here, switch that, after the bridge, go back to the intro, did all these musical changes. Mm-hmm. And I looked at her, I'm like, that all makes sense. This is so musical. But in her head, not only was it musical, first of all, it made me realize how musical she is. Mm-hmm. But throughout, you know, the times working with her, she's not just thinking of the music. She's thinking of lighting. She's thinking of the flow of the song, obviously, but the flow of the show, dancing, choreography, costumes, hair, makeup. Is she holding her mic? Is she putting it down to do like a dance break or whatever? Right. You know, stuff like that. So it made me realize how much of a bigger picture each of our jobs are. We're like, we can't. It made me realize that it's not just about my keyboards. It's about the entire picture. So I'm not just doing this anymore. I have to think of this, the entire picture. So I have to look at every single, like, if you can't change something and think, oh, well, no one will notice, it's just me. If you make that change, the lighting guy, you're messing up the lighting guy. Right. If you decide to wear a hat that night without telling anyone, you're messing up the lighting guy because he's
creating a shadow and
exactly. You know, stuff like that. So you really realize how every single piece, you know, going back to the point of every single member on tour, you know, creates this puzzle, you know, that, you know, at the end of the night, we just solve the puzzle.
So after that first rehearsal and like witnessing that happen, did you feel overwhelmed, intimidated, or excited?
No, I just felt like I'm in the right position. This is who I want to work with. Because I've always, not that I'm saying like I always had that vision, but I always wanted to work with someone who would challenge me like that and like make me grow and make me a better musician, make me a better performer, whatever. So every single Madonna tour is like, class is open. Like you're learning. And I try to be a sponge as much as possible, talking to every single department, trying to learn stuff. And that from doing that helped me with what I created with Desi.